Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Beyond the Backstage Pass. Here in the house with our friends again, once again. It's a nice, comfortable 82 degrees in Northern California. We're lucky to live here. It's a beautiful thing. We got a bunch of stuff happening. Friends from the outside sending us little gifts, which we love. It's super fun. And people that help support the show that come right to mind is Noah the Bird, the Beard Tanner. Sorry for killing your name like that, Noah. Charlie Zaricki, Lance Longley. My beautiful wife. I love you, honey. Lots of people. We really appreciate you guys out there. It makes it happen. And thank you to Dino from Lovers and Strangers. We love that you share this over your platforms. We appreciate it very much. Tonight, I'm sitting here with my good friend, Kyle Thomas. Kyle Thomas, what up, badass?
How you doing, man?
Hey, man. He's one of you. A1, travels around, works for us with Sound Image, Southern California, and Sound Image Productions.
Yeah, I got you up here, too.
Yeah, you're tag teaming. Yeah, you can't blame you. Makes perfect sense. I know it's been a struggle lately trying to, find work. I know we've been doing training. I had you in here training, right? Well, Shauna Hall is actually still in here. Shauna Hall of Parliament and P-Funk and IATSE Badass, Local 16, is in here right this minute on the boards in the back just behind this line array, studying on an S6L with a big-ass custom Pro Tools rig from Diablo Digital.
Oh, yeah, she's playing it over
there. Right? I know. You guys were killing it earlier. I was loving that. And I know that's what you've been using with some of your time. What else you been doing?
Oh, man, this week's been rough. My buddy's dog went missing in Sequoia National Park.
Oh, man.
We've been up there.
At least it's in a nice small area.
Yeah. It's
just
tiny.
a national park.
So, it's been no audio really since Monday. And just got back in town. I'm a little tired, but I'm glad to be here.
Well, it seemed like you were jonesing when you walked in the door. That's why we said, dude, the board's right over there.
Yeah, right?
I had to get
on, touch some faders.
Yeah, push some fades. Those knobs, go play with those knobs.
Yeah, right.
Which has been the words to live by I've found in my life is play with those knobs. And so I've always tell my friends, if you get an opportunity, come around, play with some knobs.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Overall, been kind of a wacky week. And, I mentioned before, and of course, I forget to do this often. I'm Vince Edwards from Sound Image Productions. I administer the pages Beyond the Backstage Pass, The Backstage Pass, and Death by Loadout. I'm just spread out all over the place. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're everywhere.
Omnipresent and nowhere at the same time. It's a good time. You should try it. But we get these gifts that come in from our friends. We got a lot of friends. You tour around, you make friends. One of them, I want to show you. I got this for you. They sent it to us.
Oh, what a
Look at this thing. This came from Ashley, from the folks at Grumpy Roadies. She couldn't have sent it to a better place.
Yeah, right.
The whole building's full of them. We're sick with roadies. Grumpy ones. Check this out. Pretty
Man,
sweet.
look at that. That's
and she sent some cool stickers. They're kind of funny. You have to see them. It's a little hard to close up on them, Mike. I don't think you can do it, but they're funny. Basically, it's a pissed off guy standing at cursing at a mixing console. We appreciate it. Thank you, Allison. We really appreciate it. That's out of Quebec, I believe.
Nice.
And of course. These little PDF books, these little personal pocket reference books from my friend Charlie Zaricki. Thank you, Charlie. You're too kind. Oh, yeah. I've handed a couple of them out to the people that could use this. Best Bernie got one. Ryan Anderson from PCLV got one.
Oh, so you're putting them in good hands.
Yeah. People that already know half this shit, but when they don't know exactly, they actually turn this thing. It's a great book if you can get your hands on it. If you don't have one, I suggest that book in this job and the Stagehands Guide. The blue book?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have that? This thing I live by that. It's in my office.
Yeah, it's the Yamaha book, right?
Yeah, well, I think it came out. It's its own publishing, and it's the cheat sheet to our job. Like, it's all in there. It's a surprising thing. I got to bring it up. Next time on the next show, I'll make sure I have it out here so I can smack you around with it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you need to get some of that in you, boy. Tell you what. Listen, we got, in our never-ending quest to have like the best people on this show, people that we've been around for a long time, have something more to offer than they got lots of stories. Let's put it that way. They've seen and done. I had to dig in deep reach down just right out there and pull out like a full-on nugget in the form of our next guest. I know you know him for many years from doing shows.
I sure have.
That's right.
You saved my ass numerous times.
Yeah, right. He's that guy. That's right. He's that guy. So I'm really proud to have him here. Without further ado, we've got Paulie Monteiro from SIR. That's Studio Instrument Rentals. SIR is badass in the game. Paulie, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks, Vince.
Man, so good to have you, buddy. You know, I've been wanting you over here and asked about it, and you finally said yes, and we appreciate it. Now, I noticed you brought your trusty dog. I love this guy.
Oh, yeah,
this
good
is
old
Norm.
Norman.
I should have introduced. I feel bad. I didn't handle
Norm.
this well. I should have said that Norm was here and Paulie.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of, he's just King Norm. Norm's got his own thing going, but we're debating if Norm should have his own Instagram page. Maybe you send us a note
I
what
don't
you
think
think
I've
on
ever
that.
seen
Norm.
you
There he is.
without your
There is.
dog.
There's a
Say hi, Norm. Hi, Norm. Hi, Norm.
Badass,
Hi, Norm.
coolest roadie friggin' sidekick of all time.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not aware of what SIR is, I'm stunned by that, first of all. And they're the guys you call when you got a fly date and you need your gear up on the stage and you want like the coolest old shit, like you need a tube amp, you need a 67 Fender P bass, whatever. This is the guy. And I have seen you on more shows. Man,
Yeah.
how do you, well, you know, one thing is you're always the hardest working guy at a show. I've seen this over and over. And then, you know, like people kind of running at that kind of island pace that sometimes happens at a show, and you're just flying. What's your secret?
What's my secret? Well, it's a simple philosophy. I've taken this on a long time ago. I don't do too many shows now as I did when I first started out at SIR, but my whole philosophy was, man, every band is my band for that day, which means, you know, not only am I looking out after the gear, I'm looking out after the band, make sure they're taken care of. One thing I learned a long time ago, what I lacked in technical expertise, I try to make up in making the band comfortable. If you can make the band comfortable, man, that's half the battle right there.
Easy half the battle.
You know, yeah. You know, especially if somebody's coming in, you know, I can't tell you how many shows where I've done where bands have shown up literally drove in from the airport and they're already freaking out, you know, that they're had to rush and get over here and they're just worried about everything's being fine. You know, it's always cool just to say, yeah, it's all good, man. Let me know if you need anything. Watch them during the show, anticipate problems. I like to anticipate, not react, you know.
Yes,
So
yes. And you like to read. I've noticed this, again, hardest working man in rock and roll. I'm not kidding now. You have to understand that this guy has worked from the smallest band to the biggest band. I normally list who these people who they work with, but it's impossible. Metallica, Stevie Nicks. I could just the list is too long, and many decades of on the job skills and mentorship. What's your favorite part of the job?
wow, you know, I enjoy it all, but the ultimate favorite part of it is, you know, when the band starts playing, and you can actually relax and. Well, I really don't relax until the show's over once everything is fine, because I'm the type of person who's going to worry about, you know, making sure everything's cool. You know, I have a backup amp ready just in case, you know, and kind of plan things out in case if there's a problem, it's like deal with it right away instead of someone going, hey, man, where's SIR? Where's the guy? Things like that, man.
I've never, and many times, never has that been a problem. You are on it.
I know. I tried very hard, and I try to tell my guys, you know, be prepared, man.
Yeah.
You know, just don't go there and become part of the scenery. You know, be proactive and let the bands know that you care and you're there for them. You
That's
know?
right. Yeah, to bail them out, to hook it up, to make the show go.
You know, ideally we don't want any problems. I mean, that's ideally the whole thing is go in there and make sure everything's going fine. Show gets over. Hey, man, if no one says anything and everything goes fine, it's been a great day, man.
Some of the biggest rock stars in America trust you for them to be able to fly in and drop in and be able to play a gig. Some of the biggest shows. I mean, I'm talking Metallica. These are not small shows I need to impress upon these people, and they trust you to make that happen.
Yeah.
That's the testimony to your badass.
Well, the company has been like that. I mean, we're literally the oldest and largest backline company and pretty much on the planet.
I think
in
the world,
52 years. We started in 67 in L.A. And over that period of time, we've built up relationships with a lot of bands. I mean, God, one of the bands that we've probably been there since day one is the Beach Boys. I can't tell you how many times, how many shows I've done with the Beach Boys, you know, and it's great when Bruce comes up and says, hey, man, I remember back in 68 and when so-and-so was doing this and blah, blah. Hey, how's the owner Ken? How's the owner Dolph, you know? Things like that. It's cool to see that, you know?
Yeah.
I've been at SIR for the last coming on 20 years now, you know, and it's seeing some of these acts that, you know, have been part of our company for that long, man. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt. You guys own a lane. I mean, there's some other small players in the game, but yeah, there's one thing as a fellow vendor. When we go on a job and we see you there, we know it's going to be a good day. We know that we can trust in you.
That's the whole idea,
doing,
man.
So you can trust in what we're doing.
Same thing with you guys. You know, it's great when we know, hey, okay, great, sound is on it. At least we know the audio's taken care of.
Yeah.
We hopefully you don't have to deal with that, because every once in a while, you know, the job kind of it crosses lanes there, where it's like, oh, okay, hey, I need you to help patch a stage up, which I've done a few times, and I have no problems, because it's all about let's get the show going and get it going right, make it quick and clean, man.
Well, I've always known you to be that way. Me and you have unloaded a few trucks together, and you always have that thing where, again, you're running and gunning, and then now it's between now and doors before the act, and you sit down and you read a book. Yeah, there's kind of a Zen thing you're doing there, because most people know when it's work time to pay attention when it comes to you, because you know you'll bite them. Yeah, you got a little dog in you, but that's that level of expectation of that it's going to be perfect. Yeah, you know, it comes to a point where, you know, there's, you know, at the beginning of the day, it's hurry up, get everything set up. You get it set up, then you have a little bit of downtime. You know, and I constantly trying to learn something new every day. That's why I like reading books, especially biography type books about musicians, you know, certain historical events and things like that. So that's, sometimes I can get through a page, sometimes I get through a chapter. It just all depends, you know. Right. But, you know, it's always focused on the gig itself, so. Yeah, no, it's a little testament to, you know, how you do this job right. You know,
thanks, I appreciate that.
A lot of us were misbehaved in the early part in their career. Oh yeah, well, hey, I've done my share. You know, there's stuff I'm not proud of, but that's all part of the learning experience. You know, when we first started out, it was really raw. You know, just think about the guys in the 60s and 70s who were flying by the seat of their pants. You know, that was all completely new. By the time, you know, the late 70s, early mid 80s hit, you know, people started getting an idea. Then by the late 80s and 90s, you know, the ball was rolling pretty good at that point, you know. And by then we were just kind of a little bit out of control. You know. When you got to get from one gig to another, man, you just got to do what you got to do to get it. That's right. The wheels almost came off the wagon a few times for sure. Yeah, I've learned how to change wheels pretty well too. So. Well, you know, you just mentioned your 20-year history with SIR, but I know you come from as a drum tech and early stage rodeo. You worked in lighting. This is a question we ask everybody. The audience is interested in knowing, how did you get into business? Which part do you want to hear? How I got into music, or well, I guess we could talk about you as an amazing, accomplished drummer, or we could talk about you. Tell me. Okay, we got time. Let's see here. In the mid '80s, I was playing in a local band called Asylum. We were together from about '85 to '90. We had a pretty good reputation back in those days. You know, at least we thought. This is back in the hair metal days when I actually had hair. Yeah, good old days. You know, then unfortunately, like most and a lot of bands, we ended up breaking up right around mid-1990. And it was kind of actually devastating, to say the least. You know, you spend all that time. It's like a sports team, man. You know, we rehearse 3, 4, 5 nights a week, and we gigged as often as we can. We put so many hours into it, thinking we're gonna make it. You know, and we had a small little taste. You know, we just started going around the merry-go-round and looking for the brass ring. Grabbed it a couple times, wasn't able to pull it out of the thing. But you know, when the band broke up, man, I was kind of lost, man, trying to figure out, well, what the hell am I going to do now? Took a little bit of a break, breath for a few months, and had friends in local bands. Hey, man, can you help us this? Can you help us that? And started helping around locally. And I'll never forget this. The first tour I went on was in '91. After one of these local shows, we went back to a hotel room and partied like we did back in the day, shooting the shit and doing, you know, whatever. And I'll never forget this, man. My buddy, the phone starts ringing at about 7:30 in the morning, right? My buddy picks it up. It was his room, and he's, you know, I could hear him in the background, and he's going, "Hey, Paul." And I go, "What?" He goes, "Hey, Joel's on the phone. He wants to talk to you." I go, "What the hell is he calling you here for, man?" So we pick up the phone, and he's like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" I go, "Nothing, just hanging out partying, you know." And he goes, "You want to go on tour?" And I go, "Oh, really? Cool. When?" He goes, "Now." I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, you need to get to the airport ASAP." Damn. So I okay, I got my stuff together, went home, packed a bag.
borrowed my buddy's car because I didn't have a car at the time. And on the way back to my buddy's place to pick him up, man, I'll never forget it. His car stalled at a light.
Oh, man.
And I'm sitting there going, come on, you start. It wouldn't start, man. All of a sudden, I look in the rear view mirror right before I get out of the car, and I see car just rammed right into the back of me, pushed through the intersection, and I was just so freaked out. I remember me just all tensed up, and ambulance came and all that, and they're going, oh, you okay? We need to take you to the hospital. I go, no, I ain't going anywhere. I'm going to the airport,
Yeah.
And it was ironically because right at that point, some other friends were driving on the other side of the street, and they were like, oh, hey, you all right? Yeah. I go, hey, man, I need a ride to the airport. So they picked me up. The ambulance guys makes me sign a waiver and go, yeah, I'm fine, bro. Took off to the airport, got on a plane, got picked up at the Burbank airport, went straight to the rehearsal studio. The band was just finishing their first set, worked on their second set, and I talked to the drummer. He's like, this guy had this massive double bass kit with this huge rack, all these electronics, and all this stuff,
boy.
the sampler. This is when samplers are starting to come out.
Yeah.
And these guys like going, yeah, this is how it's all set up. And I go, oh, okay. Let me get my tape measure out and start measuring things,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So I get all these measurements. We broke it down, packed it in a bus, and we took off the next morning, man.
How many cities?
I think that was about a 3.5, 4 month tour.
Wow, sweet.
Yeah, I never
Old
forget.
school. And then
Oh,
back
yeah,
days,
man.
you hit 90 days, 100 days, no problem.
Oh yeah, and you think about it. We had no cell phones. We had no GPS, none of the stuff we have now. You had to read a map, Thomas Guide.
Yeah, Thomas Brothers.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to make a phone call, you got to go find a phone booth, or back then we had pagers. So it was just like you get a call, it's like, oh shit, we're,
I think it's just pre-pager because I remember the phone.
yeah.
I remember having to keep some change on you.
Oh, I can't tell you how many truck stops and Denny's
Phone booths.
that we went into, or it'd be like quarters, or better yet, I had the calling card back then.
Oh, no shit.
I come home from a tour and it's like, oh shit, I just spent my whole damn tour money on the damn phone calls,
Yeah, keeping in touch.
Oh yeah, so that's kind of how I got started, and it kind of snowballed from there. Back then, it was all word of mouth. You meet bands along the way, at certain clubs, you strike up these relationships and, stay in touch with them. Back then, man, you really had to work to try to find gigs, not like now you can go on the internet. I mean, within minutes, man, you can contact 100 people.
Yeah.
Back then, man, you had to do some work, and you really had to do your job well if people wanted to work for you. My busiest year was in '93. I think I was literally on the road 11 months out of that year.
Damn.
I did 3 tours. One tour was finished in March, April on a Monday, hit the road on a Tuesday. That tour I came home, had a couple days off, and hit another tour, man. That was the salad days after that, and then it just dried up for about a year and a half, man.
There was that weird period in the time there in music where it was kind of metal was going down, grunge wasn't quite here yet. I think there was.
It was just starting, yeah, man. I remember
shit, but it was kind of a strange musical moment.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, grunge is just coming in. Nirvana just basically slayed the hair bands, at that point, and
it was a murder.
And then Seattle just came in and took over, and Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, all those type of bands. I mean, I loved them. I still have friends that were on those crews that I met back in those days.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Yeah, that's the best part of this is long-term friendships.
Oh, absolutely, man.
And the traveling's kind of fun.
Yeah, even to this day, I get the traveling Jones, man. I miss the excitement of it's like, where do we got to be today? Oh, hey, we're going here, we're going there,
Yeah, that nomadic quality.
Oh, God, when I did it, man, I'd always look at the itinerary and figure out where the midpoint was because, we were building up to that, getting to the top of the mountain, and then all of a sudden, oh, shit, here's the date. Now we're going downhill,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
It was there was a kind of, I used to have a thing in a part of the highway when you get to kind of Monterey area, and I kind of start being cool with it, but I always hated leaving the last day of a tour.
Yeah.
Always rough.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot of emotions going on that. You brothers, going their separate ways.
I had one tour that actually ended in San Jose, about maybe a mile from where I was living at the time. And I'll never forget it. We had a mobile home, we had a motor home and a trailer that we were pulling, and I mean, every day the band would get all this food and all this booze on this rider, right? And heck, we weren't even drinking half of it back then. So I remember, man, the tour manager at the time goes, hey, Paulie, because he dropped me off at my house right the next day on their way back to the airport, and I was just like, here we got all this stuff, man. I remember filling up my garage with, just bottles of Jack Daniels, sliced bread, peanut butter jars for days. You name it, man.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was
Super
crazy.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the good old days. I'm sure there's still some lane to that, but we used to fuck with people on riders, because I came from the band side of it first, and and it was kind of like how Van Halen did with the Brown.
Oh yeah.
You just want to make sure they're reading it half.
Yeah.
Time,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and many times as a stage manager, it was my job to make sure that shit was complete, right down to the count on the towels.
Yeah.
And it's a fun time. I had a question about SIR. I've always been interested because I want to go basically to your shop. You're here in my shop right now. I want to go to your shop and pretty much steal everything you have.
I know you got the cool.
Oh my
toys,
God.
man.
Oh
I
man,
love
dude.
doing rehearsals over there.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
some items we have to have multiples and dozens of.
Yeah. I was wondering how you guys, is it rider specific? How do you determine what you're going to have on stock?
Well, a lot of this,
Crazy shit.
most of the time, especially nowadays with new technology, it's demand. When we start seeing on riders, when people start asking for certain gear, plus I'm always trying to stay up on top of the new gear. That's why I try to go to NAMM show every year and read all the trade magazines to see what the cool stuff is. If I see a keyboard that's going to be, coming out in a couple of months, so-and-so keyboard, and I keep telling myself, it's like, oh, great. And I tell the boss, I go, well, here's one we should keep on the radar because I got a feeling, in 6 months to a year, once guys get it, they're going to want it. And sure enough, stuff like that happens all the time, man.
Yeah, no, I've always known you to keep
Yeah, and there's a lot of items that people go to over the years, and we have to have multiples of because
V-Bass.
like God, geez, B3s. We have 8 of them.
Yeah, I was about to say that's
Yeah,
that's the
you
crazy
have
thing
to have it. I mean, we've had weekends where all of them been gone.
It's one of my favorite sounding instruments.
It is, man. It's
Leslie,
one of the most
man.
it's one of the most frustrating things because you know what, man? If people have never opened up a B3, you look on the back of that, dude. There's literally miles and miles of cable on that and wires.
Well, the nice thing about yours is they have the 1/4-inch inputs to it.
Yes,
so
we've
such a more simple.
we've tried to
base
make it
dealing with
as universal as possible, And some people, ask for certain things. It's like we try to make the stuff as user friendly as possible. So we try to get all the options. I do that with drums all the time too. When I was working in the drum department when I first started out, it's just like, hey man, I'd send 3 options the mount of tom. There's a bass drum tom mount, there's a snare stand, there's a double tom stand, just because you just never know. Yeah. Some guys either they want that option. The worst thing is, someone gives you a phone call, hey man, I'm missing this, or hey, can you send me this, by the way?
It gets expensive.
Oh, well, time is money, man.
Right.
Especially if you forget something, that simple gig just costs you another $200 or $300 in time and manpower, man.
It's happened to the best of us.
Oh yes, it has. I mean, I was guilty of it. When you're doing so much at a quick pace, man, sometimes it happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I must save you being in South San Francisco, just being so close to.
Well, we're more close. We're more in the Bayview type of area. So, I mean, for the city, it's great. I tell the guys, I go, listen, man, anything outside of the city, if it's in the city, we can get to it within 20 minutes to a half an hour. Depending on traffic. Anything outside, man, you're looking at an hour plus. That's why I tell the guys, if you're going out of the city, take backups, take extras, please. I'd rather you have more stuff than not enough.
Right.
Because it's just, especially if we get a call at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday trying to get something over across the bay, forget about it.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I believe our traffic is worse than LA traffic. Although they push more cars through, we actually have more downtime.
Yeah, well, because of the bridges,
Yeah, absolutely.
All that. So,
what's the restore I have to ask. You were talking about the B3, and we know what a complex instrument that is. But you have so much classic instruments and things. How do you guys? If I send this system behind me out, that's going to be flashed in the prep area. We're going to make sure that everything's up to speed. How do you guys do it when you take your gear back in?
We double check everything. Especially it's easier when it's a keyboard or an amp. You open the case up, visually look at it, make sure all the bits and pieces are there, the cables, the sustain pedal, and we check it and make sure it's working. And if it's not, then we try to find out why it's not. Drums, it's a whole different thing. We usually have like a drum voucher, and we check the stuff back in. Make sure there's nothing missing, and it all works.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it sounds like an ongoing process.
Oh yeah,
just like us.
it's never ending, man. It really is. I mean, we have so much gear there, and it's a never ending process of making sure that it's constantly working. I mean, we have one guy in the shop who's really good with electronics, and he's constantly, just about every single day when he has free time, working on something. And he can
the scope open every single.
Yeah,
time
man,
there.
he can do a lot of it, but sometimes there's stuff that's beyond his realm, and we farm it out to get fixed and so forth, or we buy another one.
Yeah, that's obviously last.
Yeah, it's very rarely where we have one of something in the shop, and if we do, it's something that's either specific to an artist that comes in, or it's just doesn't get requested.
And you guys can ship between shops, huh?
Yeah, it works great for our West Coast shops, like between our Seattle, Portland, LA, and San Diego shops. We do a lot of little cross breeding, as they say.
Right. I'm not sure if all of our viewers know that SIR doesn't just rent backline and amazing equipment for shows, but you also you have a side of the business that does where bands can come in, and I know we've helped out. Sound Image has helped out you guys with bands coming in and practicing in there.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Well, that's part of the studio instrument rentals, When it started in LA in '67, they they'd have some studios there, and they'd have bands that would come in and rehearse and rent some of the back line, and either they do it for long term as their rehearsal place, or come in to do shows. LA has expanded quite a bit over the years to have multiple studios there.
World famous. There's been a lot of amazing stuff down
man.
there.
I mean, I remember the owner telling me about when Led Zeppelin was there in '75.
That's right.
They literally rehearsed at SIR in LA for weeks back then. I forget what album they were working on back then. It might have been, was it Physical Graffiti that came out around that time, maybe, or something around that. But I mean, even to this day, right now, with this whole coronavirus thing, our LA shop's doing some rehearsals and a lot of live streaming. Our Vegas shop is booming big time.
What are they doing?
Well, they're doing. I know. I just talked to the guy the other day, and they're doing some music videos there. And doing a lot of live streaming. Same thing with our Nashville shop. We got a lot of people coming in to do some live streaming, some rehearsals. New York is doing a little bit of that too. Those are the main stores. Some of the smaller stores don't really have studios because of the location and the size. Here in San Francisco, we have one big room. We've had a lot of big names in there.
Yeah.
We're waiting to kind of see this whole scene right now with the Bay Area. It's been so shut down music-wise. It's tough, man. We haven't really had anything in months now, man, and it's scary stuff.
I know you said recently, we talked recently, and you said that something just went out the door, some keyboards or something.
Yeah, we had some keyboards go out the other day, first order in 3 months, man, for a recording session.
That is rough, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say, or at least from this shop, I think we've done 3 rentals.
Yeah.
And we had Brian Adorama in here today doing some live streaming on his own. We helped him out with that, like that type of thing. But I'm talking, trucks on the dock.
Yeah.
Gear getting pushed out.
It's done. I mean, all my guys are they're laid off, man.
Is that what you had to do?
Yeah, well, you had to because we had no business. We had about a week there from the announcement where, the guys, we were trying to keep them busy, and then it just basically came down to shut it down, guys. And unfortunately,
That's sad.
the unemployment's going to run out, man. And if we don't have any business, I'm afraid we're going to lose some good guys because, I told them you got to do what you got to do to look after yourselves. If it opens up tomorrow, we still have no business.
Dan didn't go with the PPP thing.
There's nothing to do. I'm just, if there was work for us to kind of do.
Yeah, we kind of did the winter maintenance thing, and then and this was a top-down thing. It's not my choice that we did this, but it was kind of cool. A lot of I believe our employees are being paid right now, and that will run its natural course. There's some prescribed date where the plan or something stops, but so we've been lucky that way. But that was what retention, big problem. That's why we're pushing the training.
Yeah, man, it's it's tough, man. I feel bad for them because we have become a real tight-knit team, and
I love you.
Well, I appreciate that. We all have our moments, One of the I heard your brother George talk about this a couple episodes ago. One of the kind of good things the first couple of weeks of this was we got a little bit of a break, because, man, we've been going full tilt for a long time.
That's right.
And it was finally not, because we're all always wondering, man, when can we slow down? When can we take time off? And it's always a big thing among us is trying to figure out when people can take time off. But there's always seems like there's another gig, there's another festival, blah blah blah. And
we
it was
got our wish.
yeah, well exactly, and then some, right?
Yeah.
No, it was cool for the first couple of weeks, but yeah, it's gotten
It's been nuts.
yeah.
Well, we'll circle back to that. I was curious. You're one of the best drummers I know. Actually, oddly, Paulie, the guy behind the boards over here, Mike Brown, ridiculous drummer.
Oh, really?
Oh my!
Good East Slade.
Like, dude, it's ridiculous.
Nice.
It's some Celtic metal thing, and it's
cool.
fast and powerful and clean, like
Nice.
friggin' Swiss. I mean, it's insane. But I know you like to expel some energy. I know you got bands.
Oh yeah,
play.
absolutely,
Talk to us
man.
about
I
it.
got
What
a
are you
few
doing? What are
different
your
bands
musical
going out,
projects right
man.
now?
That's why I got into this business was the love of music, man.
That's right.
And I got it very early thanks to my pops, who was a musician himself. And man, I was just fascinated with the drums from about 11 years old, man. And I've been playing for 45 years now of my life, man.
Well, it shows you're an amazing drummer.
Well, thank you. I mean, constantly working on it.
Bam, bam. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. It's sometimes, it's a good place.
Well,
to
yeah,
get the
man. Some
energy
days I
out.
have good days, some days I don't, just like everybody else.
Just like
man,
everybody else,
But
that's right.
it's been my sanity check for a long time.
Yeah.
Especially now. I mean, I lucky I have access to our shop, and I'm there on a regular basis, kind of looking over the place.
Junkyard dog.
Yeah, just
Yeah, yeah.
answering some phone calls,
That's
which
right.
frequently come in, and
Oh,
some emails.
Don't undersell yourself.
I know.
I've literally
The humility.
I've
It's
literally
great.
needed something at a gig, and then like that period, you're like, shit, man, I need to go make my gig.
Yeah.
And then I had to give you a ride to whatever you were.
Yeah, that's
There's
happened
not-
a couple times.
There's
Yeah.
not too many people I know in this business that are that.
Well, dude,
dedicated to it,
it's you got to do it because you love it. Because it sure in the hell ain't for the money.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Occasionally I do some of these gigs and I get, $50, $100, which, it's the old classic line, you spend $5,000, $10,000 on a drum kit to get paid $50 to do a gig. I don't care, man. I just love playing, man. And I got friends. I got 3 bands going on now that, these people are very special to me, man. They're my friends. They're my extended family. We create these songs, man, that just, are very powerful. And that's what it's about, man. It's creating songs, and then hope that someday people get to listen to them,
Yeah.
That's what this whole industry is. It's about the music and the songs, man.
Yeah, it's a great way to express yourself.
Absolutely.
And you're expressive.
Well,
And-
thanks, brother.
Yeah,
I
it.
appreciate that.
I know you probably don't own a crystal ball, and if you do, it's probably a little foggy. What do you think is going to happen in the future, buddy?
Boy, brother, I tell you, I've been trying to figure this one out, and unfortunately, a lot of the stuff is way above my pay rate at this point. People much smarter than me are have to figure this out. I keep telling people, "Hey, man, we're ready to play the game. Just tell us how you want to." What the rules are to play the game and what time the game starts. I see this industry, we're going to have to adapt yet again.
Yes.
Just like after 9/11, I mean, that was something that changed the industry for quite a while, but it kind of righted itself out. But that was an event that kind of had its moment. And then we dealt with the aftermath. This has been ongoing, and
Global.
there's so much uncertainty. I mean, I talk to artists, I read stuff online about bands. God, there were some artists who were literally about to get on tour buses and go and tour when this all hit. I've read stories where people have spent fortunes on merch and stuff ready to go on, and they lost all this money, man. A lot of some of these artists, man, that's what they depend on.
Well, it's funny. I didn't think about that until you just mentioned that. Now, we have the Grumpy Roadie. That she's a big-time merch girl, and I didn't think about all the 2020 merch.
Yeah.
I know Disturbed was going out, Motley was going out, Death Lab. A lot of our friends were going out, and man, they must be sitting on a ton of 2020 merch.
Yeah, and hopefully
how that's going to play out.
I would assume. I mean, to me, the logical thing was obviously keep it, sell it at a reduced rate because, you know, it's going to become some sort of maybe novelty thing, you know. Hey, yeah, I saw so-and-so in 2020. No, you didn't.
You couldn't have.
That's a cool shirt, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's like the Super Bowl loser shirt, you know. Those things have become kind of a collector's item unto themselves, you know.
I'm pretty sure our emails will start getting clogged by Rockabilia and the other vendors that trying to always get us to buy their old kind of leftover stuff.
Yeah.
Super fun. Listen, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
No problem, Vinny. I really appreciate it, man. I said, man, with you and your brother, I've known your brother for a long time, man.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know,
Just call him right there to the screen. You're old. It's cool.
All right.
We couldn't do it without you, buddy.
Well, I appreciate it, and same here, man. We're all it's all one big team, man.
Absolutely.
You know,
And that's
it takes people don't understand, man. This is, you know, tour, especially touring, man. It's literally a traveling. It's more than a circus because you know what? Think about it. A circus comes in town, they set up, they stay put for a week or two. You know,
That's right.
These tours, man, you're going every single day for the most part, man. Think about it, man. You show up at a venue at 7 a.m. You don't leave till 2 or 3 a.m. that next day, and boom, you're gone across country sometimes.
First one in, last one out.
That's
nice
it,
long
man.
ride.
And it takes a village to get this thing going, man. And it just doesn't happen overnight. When people show up and they go, "Oh, this is cool." Well, you know, until you actually view it and see it happen, and you're in the middle of it, man, it's actually kind of exciting and thrilling, even though it does get exhausting after a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think we landed well, you know.
Yeah, man. We're trying. Hey, man, we're still here, right?
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's
yeah,
right.
I hear you, bro.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for coming
Thank you
out.
very much, man. Hope you guys have much more success. I love the program. I look forward to seeing more, man.
Thank you, Paulie. From
All right,
from Mouth of God's ears.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Kyle.
always
Appreciate
good.
it, guys.
Hey, listen, we appreciate you guys tuning in tonight, as we always do at this part of the show. We couldn't do it without the help of some partners in the game. One of them is behind the boards right now on the other side of the cameras. It's Mike Brown, our audio god. He's a badass. He's handling so many things. Mike, we really appreciate you. Thank you, brother.
Right on, Mike.
Yeah, Mike's a good man. We got some outside suppliers. First of all, Sound Image Productions allows me this space and the gear, and I love them for it. My brother, George Edwards, thank you, sir, our general manager and CEO of Southern California Sound Image, Dave Shadone. Thank you, boss. I appreciate that. And our cameras are courtesy of the good folks over at LSV Large Screen Video. That's John Rigney, great man. Good friend. We appreciate him. It was a wonderful interview. Thank you, John. We appreciate you so much. Also, we do social distance. We use the hand sanitizer and so on. The good people at slowfiber.com provide these services to us. They fix our tech drape and other things. We sent some of these masks down to our brothers in our other shops. We really want to thank slowfiber.com for helping us out. You guys do a great job. Thank you so much. And of course, I want to thank my guest host, my brother,
Hell yeah, man.
Kyle
Good
Thomas.
to see you again.
Thanks for sitting shotgun, Daddy. You're the man.
Anytime.
Let's try to do this next week. We got AJ Fardella on. He's a Huey Lewis journey. I mean, listen, I'll just see you next week. This guy's a badass. He's been around forever. He's an old pro mentor, and he's got stories. We're going to check him out next week, Thursday at 7 p.m. on YouTube. That's where you're watching us. If you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, have a great week. Take care of yourself. Good night.
Peace.
Peace.
Cool, Daddy-O. Hey, Norm, you okay?